Welcome back to Commander of the Week, where we showcase one commander, one build, one way to make your fans hate you just a little more. This week, we're talking about the Stax King himself, aka the IRS, Grand Arbiter Augustin IV. That's right, the commander who says, why play Magic the Gathering when you can play Monopoly at half speed? Grand Arbiter Augustin IV. 2 colorless, 1 plains, 1 island. Legendary creature, human advisor. He's a 2/3. White spells you control cost 1 less. Blue spells you control cost 1 less. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more. Salt of the earth. Pretty much. It's indicating you're running a coupons while your opponents are stuck paying full price. And yes, people do hate this commander. They find him flat out annoying. But hey, he's just practically good vessel of responsibility. Call it Magic the Gathering TurboTax Edition. Now let's get into my 5 absolute favorite staples in this Stax deck. If these cards hit the table, you just know the game night is over. Pack it up, we're done here. I'm collecting your salt. First, Knowledge Pool. The ultimate Uno reverse card. Anytime someone casts a spell, it gets exiled into the pool and they have to pick something else. Imagine trying to play your big combo piece and instead get stuck with, I don't know, a random mana rock. That is flat out brutal. It's a 6 colorless mana cost artifact. Whenever Knowledge Pool enters the battlefield, each player exiles the top 3 cards of his or her library. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it. If a player does, he or she may cast another non-land card exiled with Knowledge Pool without paying the card's mana cost. It's gross, but it only gets worse if you combine it with other cards like, let's just say, Daphne Magistry, where it literally tells you your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than hand. That is gross. You lock the game. They can't do nothing. Opponents can't cast spells. And they fold. Next, Frozen Aether. 3 colorless, 1 island, enchantment. Frozen Aether basically tells you, hey, nice permanent you got there. Shame it's too cold to actually use it. Lands, creatures, artifacts, they all come in tapped. Everything your opponent plays comes in tapped. It's pretty much saying the whole board got caught with a frostbite. Ew. And then you just collect their salt afterwards. Next, perhaps one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. God-Pharaoh's Statue. 6 colorless, legendary artifact. Spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life. This card is the equivalent of dropping a boulder in the middle of a highway. Every spell costs 2 more, and everyone takes damage for having the audacity of existing during my end step. It's like, not only are you late, but here's a ticket on top of that. Salty. Second to last, Winter Moon. This 2 colorless artifact states players can't untap more than 1 non-basic land during their untap steps. Winter Moon punishes greedy mana base like nobody's business. Non-basic lands do not untap unless you've been a good boy or a good girl and only use basics. No fetch lands, no dual lands, no shock lands. That's right, you're grounded. And last but not least, yes, Jin-Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant. This 5 colorless, 2 island, legendary creature, Phyrexian Proctor, a 5/5. Whenever you cast a spell, an instant, or a sorcery, copy that spell. You may choose a new target for that spell, and that can only be triggered once per turn. Here's where it gets nasty. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, an instant, or a sorcery, they counter that spell. This ability only triggers one time. Pretty much nothing makes a funner game night than having your first non-creature spell get countered for free. Oh, and when you're casting something, copy it. So you get double the value while your opponents get double the salt. Truly, Jin is a group hug card that everyone deserves. And on top of that, he fills up the cup of salt just for you. Now I can't wrap this up without honorable mentions because I'm running blue-white. And there's two cards, two enchantments that are famous for its individual colors. And together, they are in this deck. And they're flat out funny to use and nasty because you get to pick up the salt and your rewards. That is Rhystic Study, the classic OG enchantment that teaches your play group a new phrase. Are you gonna pay the one? And spoiler alert, they eventually don't, and you are eventually drawing cards. The second one is Smothering Tides. So, if you thought paying the one was bad, now if you played this card on top of Rhystic Study, the new question is gonna be, hey, are you gonna be paying the two and the one? And if they aren't, you get the rewards, salt and treasures. So individually, it's gross, and together, beautiful. Beautiful misery for all your friends. Just make sure that you're not the only person. Just make sure that your exit from your OGS is safe, because you're most likely gonna have plenty of aggro and frustrated friends because you ruined the night. So there you have it, Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, with his 5 nasty staples and 2 salty honorable mentions. This deck isn't about winning. It isn't. It's about watching your friends, your opponents, slowly lose all faith in humanity. And that means you actually won, and you collect the salt as your reward. So, if you enjoyed a breakdown of Command of the Week, smash the like button, subscribe for more salty stack action, and drop a comment. Which card do you think tilts people the most? Knowledge Pool or God-Pharaoh statue? I want to hear your salty stories, guys. Until next time, may your lands always come in tapped. Unless I'm playing Frozen Aether, then I'm going to collect your salts. Have a good one, guys.